Close Sports Pulse, Chicago White Sox pitcher Danny Farquhars suffered a brain aneurysm on April 20. USA Today Sports Chicago White Sox pitcher Danny Farquhar faced 4 batters in the top of the 6th inning Friday night and returned to the dugout after a seemingly normal inning of work. But by the top of the 7th, an aneurysm in his brain had ruptured, leaving him in a fight for his life. Farquhar remained at Rush University Medical Center in Chicago on Monday as the baseball world continued to try to come to terms with the severity and suddenness of his ailment. The White Sox said in a statement that the 31-year-old is progressing well after a Saturday surgery and has use of his extremities, is responding appropriately to questions and commands and is speaking to doctors and his family. While few specifics have emerged about the nature or location of Farquhar's aneurysm, experts in neurosurgery told USA Today Sports that it's possible that the 31-year-old could return to lead a normal life. If he's awake and talking, there's a good chance that he'll do a stint of rehab and do quite well, said Howard Rena, the director of Muskegon Health Center for Stroke and Neuromuscular Diseases. A lot of people can return, if the aneurysm is secured, to their previous level of functioning in a normal life expectancy. Other people have damage and they may not be the same. A lot of it has to do with how he came in, how he fares during the course of the hospitalization. Aneurysms are essentially weak or thin parts of a blood vessel wall. They can occur anywhere in the body, and Rena estimated that about 3 to 6% of the population has one, often unknowingly, because many do not have clear symptoms. It's likely that Farquhar had this even for a number of years without knowing it, added Dr. Kevin McGill, chairman of the neurosurgery department at Georgetown University's medical school. But it was always at risk for bleeding or bursting. Dimitri Segunas, an assistant professor of neurological surgery at George Washington University, likened ruptured aneurysms to volcanoes, erupting before going dormant for a brief time, during which they must be repaired. Rena described them as almost like a blowout on a tire, estimating that about 30 to 50% of people die from the initial rupture and, of those who make it to the hospital, only 1/3 ever return to normalcy. Experts said aneurysms appear most often in people over the age of 50. Babak Jaromi, a neurosurgeon and professor at Northwestern University's medical school, wrote in an email that having a ruptured aneurysm at 31 like Farquhar is less common but not rare. Jaromi, McGill and Rena said that it's possible, but not certain, that Farquhar's pitching activity could have raised his blood pressure and contributed to the rupture. It's not so surprising that it's while participating in a game, Rena said. But other times, people have aneurysms when they're just walking down the street or sitting at home. While all 3 doctors cautioned that they could only speak generally about aneurysms because they had not seen detailed information about Farquhar's case, they agreed that the White Sox pitcher will be monitored in the intensive care unit for weeks at a minimum. He will, then, in a best-case scenario, undergo a physical rehabilitation process to recover any lost function. Recovery is usually measured in terms of months, and sometimes years, rather than weeks/days, Jaromi wrote in an email. Contact Tom Shattuck's chat@usatoday.com or on Twitter @Tom.